first thing we have to do is we have to set the location for our web page, and we do that over on the right-hand side under our Files panel. By default right now, it is looking at the desktop. Is that going to be really where we should save anything for when we're working on our site? No. Really important. When we come in and work on here, you have your assigned seat, and you're using Dreamweaver right here where you're working on right now. If you came in during ELT and you sat at a different computer, you would have to redefine your site at every computer you work at. Okay? So what we're doing is we're setting up Dreamweaver for it to work on this workstation. If you choose a different workstation, you have to define your sites differently. So just be aware of that. If you come in during study hall or ELT to work on things, if you're not at your computer, you will have to do this step. It's not hard, but you just need to be aware of that. So on the right-hand side, we're not going to save anything to the desktop. Where should we be saving things to? Okay, so we're going to go to the network. My drive letter is different than your drive letter. So when I click from the drop-down menu, okay, you have an H drive, correct? So you're going to go ahead and choose the H drive. Now, when I choose the H drive, I literally have a bajillion folders here. And why do I have all these folders and you don't? Because those are all the folders that I have saved on the network. Okay, I have lots of files that I use on the network, and you don't. So it's totally fine that your files panel does not match mine. What we need to do right now, though, is we need to create a folder where we're going to be working on the striped umbrella. Okay, so when we take a look here, we have these options to go ahead and create. You will see I'm just doing this a little bit bigger. I'm trying to make it a little bit easier for you to see. Okay. We need to create a folder. So what we can do is we can right-click. I'm doing it in the big area, but you can do it there in the same spot. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to choose New Folder. Except I'm in the wrong spot. I have to make sure that the very top folder is selected. Right-click, New Folder, and I'm going to call this 2016 Striped Umbrella. You can just call it Striped Umbrella, though. Does everyone have a folder called Striped Umbrella? So I put it back to this view so it matches. I'm on my H drive. Over here on the right, I'm choosing my 2016 Striped Umbrella. You need to have your folder selected as well. Can you have that Striped Umbrella folder selected? Don't have it in a subfolder, okay? Don't have a folder that says senior or junior or whatever. Really put it right under your H drive. Just trust me, it'll be a little bit easier later on. If you have it under a subfolder, you can delete it and put it just right under the H. Mr. Inman, please stay with me. You're not. Please get out of there. So what we need to do right now, we have that folder selected. On the very top on my menu, I'm going to go to Site, and I'm going to go to New Site. So I am telling Dreamweaver right now we are going to be setting up a new site. But first thing we did is we just created that folder on the right-hand side. So now, This is going to be where I name the site. Now, naming the site here under Site, Manage Site has nothing to do with what it's going to look like or called when it's published. It's just a quick reference for if I'm working with multiple projects, what this project would be called. So we can have spaces on it. We can call it whatever we want. Right here, you're going to type in where it says unnamed site 2. You probably have unnamed site 1. We're really going to call it striped umbrella. Now, here it says local site folder. We don't want it to go to see users, blah, blah, blah. We want to go where? The network. So you're going to click on that little folder on the right-hand side. Go to computers, your account. You're going to find that folder that you just made and click on open and then select. So mine says H:/2016 striped _umbrella. Really important, because this is where we're telling the program this is where all our files are going to be. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is now we're going to say, where are we going to publish this to? Because then once we have this set up, anytime you need to turn in work to me, it's really easy to do. We do that under the Servers tab on the left-hand side. Okay? When we go here, it looks like nothing is available to us, but what we need to do is we actually need to add a new server. So we'll click on Add a New Server. And we can go ahead and say Publish Work. And how we're going to connect to this server, there's a drop-down list here. And we are on a local network, so all we need to do is choose here for local network. Now the next thing that we have to do is we have to go to where we're going to be publishing this, and that is going to be under the Student Shared. So I'm going to click right here for Server Folder on the right-hand side. I'm going to click on this folder. Now, by default, it's going to go under the H striped umbrella that we just made. That's not where we want to go. I'm going to go to Computer. I'm going to go to Student Shared, SHS, Assignment Submit, Grassel, Web Design, find your name, and then within here, what do we need to do? We have to make a folder called what? Striped Umbrella. So you can click on that little plus, the folder with the red star in the upper right-hand corner, and you can call this Striped Umbrella. You then want to select or open that folder. So on the very top, it will say Striped Umbrella. So we have two folders now that we've chosen. The one where we're working, and then we have the one that we're going to publish to. Right now we're working on setting up the one that we're going to publish to. Once you have that one, you can go ahead and hit Select. And now here, you have a much longer URL. It should say SHS, Assignment Submit, Grassel, Web Design, your name, Striped Umbrella, if you scrolled all the way across. And all you would need to do then is hit Save. Okay? So we name this server Publish Work. We set up the address for a local network. And we're calling this a remote server. I can go ahead and hit Save right now. So now notice, on the lower right-hand corner, I'll be right there with you, Brian. What color is this folder now? Green. Why? do with the fact that the color of the software is green. Color of the software is green. But look right here. We defined a site. So right now, Dreamweaver assumes we're working with a site. From this, if you click on this drop-down menu, before we had to go through and choose different drives, like we selected the H drive or the S drive. But right now, we're working on the site for Striped Umbrella. You can go through and have multiple sites defined over here on the right-hand side. So I can go back and view my H drive, or I can go into my site that's defined. Sites that are defined properly will always be green on the right-hand side, and it will also have the aspect of having the folder here green with the name of your site. We're going to take a look at section 1-4, which is adding our folders and pages to our site. So we're going to continue to work right with Dreamweaver. So what we have to do is we have our site defined over here on the right-hand side because we have our green folder here. What we need to do is we have to go through and we have to make a folder for our assets. Okay? Basically, when we talk about assets, assets is basically anything that's going to enhance your website. Images, videos, or such. And we're going to put all of that within a folder to keep everything a little bit better organized. Okay, so to do that, I want you to right-click on this folder right here. Hang on. So on Striped Umbrella on the right-hand side where it's green, I'm going to right-click and I'm going to make a new folder, and it's important that you spell it correctly, assets, A-S-S-E-T-S. Now what we want to do is we want to tell Dreamweaver that this folder that we just created is the folder that we are going to use for all of our images. So to do that, I'm going to go under Site, and now I'm not going to make a new site. I'm going to Manage Sites. And then here is going to be a list of the sites that I can work with. I only have one right now, so I'm going to go ahead and edit my Striped Umbrella. And you will find that we're going to go under Advanced Settings. There's a drop-down menu under Advanced Settings. And then I'm going to go right here to Local Info. Under Local Info, basically on the very top, we have to say, where is our default images folder? So I'm going to go ahead and choose my Assets folder. Then you can go ahead and hit Save. And then you can hit Done. Now nothing really looks any different from what we had before, but it helps Dreamweaver for it to know where all of your files and things are going to be looking at. Our next step that we're going to do is we're going to open up a file that was created by the textbook company for us already. And we're going to open it up, and then we are going to save it under your drive, okay? So what we're going to do right here in Dreamweaver is I'm going to click on this Open button, and then you have to browse for this file. This file is going to be saved on the network under Student Shared, SHS, Classes, Grassl, Web Design, Dreamweaver, Chapter 1, and we're looking for DW1 _2. And then you'll click on Open. Anyone need help finding that file? Now, so I am in Design View. Some of you are in Split View. Some can be in Code View. And all you have to do on the very top is change. It will be in whatever you last used in Dreamweaver. So to go back so it looks just like mine, you would click right here on Design View. Now, what we need to do is we have to go through and we have to save this under your account. So I can't do File Save. I have to do a File Save As and choose a new location. So I'm going to do File, Save As, and now I need to go under my account, under that striped umbrella folder, and I am not going to call it DW1_2. I am going to call this index, a lowercase index.html. It is important that this page is saved as index. Index is what web pages refer to as the very first page that's going to be viewed within a site. So, for example, when I go to Nike.com, I type in Nike.com, that first page that pops up, that is called the index page. Every page after that, you're going to need the specific name of it in order to reference. So it's always also called like the home page. Okay? So two things we're doing here. We're opening up something from the network that was done from the textbook, and then we're saving it back under our account. You have the wrong file. Yes. Go ahead and click on Save. And then it's going to ask you, update links, and you say no. Very important that you say no. What happened? Our banner is gone. Okay? What happened is when we opened up this page from that spot where all the textbook files are from, there was also an assets folder there, and that's where the image is. So what we have to do is we need to get a copy of that image into our assets folder. Okay, so what we have up on the very top is a broken image placeholder. Basically, the web page knows, hey, there's supposed to be a picture here, but it's not working. So I'm going to go ahead and select this image. And when I select that broken image on the top, my properties panel on the bottom here has changed. And that's the important aspect, because I need to go down here now where it says source. So right here, this is my source tag. I need to click right here on that folder icon. Now, we have to find this image. Where is this image saved? On that S drive, SHS, Classes, Grasso, Web Design, Dreamweaver, Chapter 1, Assets, and we are going to choose the one that says SU Banner. What is happening, two things that we've done, is we told Dreamweaver all of our images are supposed to be where? In our assets folder. Right now, we're going out and selecting this image, and when we select this image right now, it's going to put a copy of this image in our assets folder automatically. Okay? And if you click on it, it should automatically appear up there, right? Sometimes it just click on the image. Now, over here on the right-hand side, look what happened. Do you see how this image you have the completely wrong thing selected. You're not following along. If you hit this refresh button, this green one, it'll appear. Okay? The reason that worked is we defined our site, when we defined our site, we said all of our images are going to go in our assets folder. So when we went through and chose the location for this image, it automatically copied it there. If you don't define your site correctly, that doesn't work. Okay. Now, my assets folder I can expand or collapse with these little pluses or minuses. So right now there's a plus next to my assets. That means, hey, I have a bunch of those other files in there. What we're going to do right now is we're going to create a bunch of pages for our site. Okay? But these pages are going to be blank pages right now. We're going to add content to them later. So what I want you to do, I want you over here in the white space to right-click, and we're going to add a new file. Spelling matters. So I'm going to add a new file, and it by default gives me untitled.html. The first one that I'm going to do is going to be called SPA, S-P-A. And it automatically has the HTML, so I would just hit enter. The next one that I'm going to do after SPA is going to be called Cafe. Cafe is spelled C-A-F-E. And just leave the .html. Right-click again, another file. This is going to be called Activities. So we have a folder called Activities. We also need to do two more of them. Our next file is going to be called Cruises, C-R-U-I-S-E-S. The last one that we're going to be doing is called Fishing, F-I-S-H-I-N-G. So you should have, oh, I think I forgot one. I did. The other one that I need is About, A-B-O-U-T, underline, us. So what I just did is I just sorted mine alphabetically just to make sure it matches up. How can you sort it alphabetically? Click on local files twice and it will resort them. So we should have About Us, Activities, Cafe, Cruises, Fishing, Index, and Spa. Any problems creating those pages? So what we just did is we created new pages within our defined site. We have an assets folder where we said that the default for all images are going to go within this asset folder.